You know, there have been many lessons from 2020. And if 2020 has shown us, or at least me, anything, it's to stop accepting what I've been accepting in life. I mean, how many of you over this year have thought, why did I let this happen? Or why did I do that when I could have stopped it, or I could have moved forward? But we kind of get, I think it's human nature to kind of get, I don't want to say a rut, but just kind of stay on the same path. And, you know, you're not too high, you're not too low, but you're happy. And so that's all good. But I think because 2020 was so life-changing in so very many ways, it changed how we perceive things. It changed how, I mean, I'm sitting here in a 3,000 square foot office that our lease is up in September, and I'm not sure we're going to renew it, because why do we have office space anymore? All the meetings we had, we can do on Zoom. So 2020 has changed how we look at things. And over the weekend, and as I've talked to you guys, I'm a huge goal setter, really outcomes more than goals, because if your goal is to make $1 million, that's okay, but the outcome, how do you make the $1 million? How does it make you feel? So I'm more into the outcome. But I started to ask myself 3 key questions, and I changed it a little bit. I mean, if you followed me, you know my questions are always, who am I, who do I want to be, and how do I get there? But I changed it because I didn't resonate anymore. I changed it to, who am I, how do I want to show up in the world, and how do I become that person? Because I think sometimes we forget about how we show up, how we appear. Now, I know I'm a goofball. I know I love to have fun and mess around, but sometimes you have to be careful the message you're sending. Because if you want people to take you serious and you're always kind of a goofball, then that's what you get. Now, I wear Christmas shirts. I do every year, although this is the first year we have not decorated the office because we've been so busy. But you have to kind of figure out, who do you want to be in 2020? Because as you move forward, the universe is going to continue throwing things in your path. This isn't going to be the only thing that gets thrown in your path. It'll constantly be thrown in your path. And transformation is an always evolving situation. I mean, I developed my Become the Most Powerful You program because, you know, I've spent 30, 40 years transforming different parts of my life. I mean, when I started this path many, many years ago, I was a drunken, homeless bum that had nothing to show for it. I mean, I was probably the only person I know that had a college degree and was homeless and was a drunk. So I knew I had to start changing things. And, you know, you keep evolving and you keep evolving. And when you think everything's great, of course, you have to have another reset. Over the past 2 years, though, has been an amazing amount of change. I can't honestly remember. I was trying to think this morning the last time I had such profound changes as I have the last 2 years. I mean, I've talked about 2018 was a really rough year for me. 2019 was rougher, and then we hit 2020. But for me, 2020 was a time for me to kind of reset, because it wasn't like I could focus on other things. I could focus on work, home, and what wasn't working right with my life. Because you had a lot of, you know, I wasn't going to football games and I wasn't going out to dinner and, you know, the stuff we do to distract ourselves. Now we're just home with ourselves and our loved ones and a lot of time to think. And the lessons I learned were so life-changing. And kind of as a sidebar, when you start making change, and again, we're getting near the end of the year, it's what, December 15th? People always start thinking, well, the first of the year I'm going to lose weight. As you transform your life, as you make change in your life, weight will start coming off. I mean, I've lost a lot of weight over the years, 60, 70 pounds, but this last time has been the easiest it's ever been. Because as you transform things, you start feeling good about yourself. You start feeling confident, and you just automatically start losing weight. Now, I don't mean you wake up one day and say, bam, 15 pounds down. But you feel so good about yourself that it's easy to say, you know what, I'm going to take a hard pass on a chocolate chip cookies. I don't really need that, because not, as I like to say, nothing tastes and feels like nothing tastes as good as 138 feels. And I just say that all the time. But as you make these changes, you'll just feel better. And as you feel better, you continue to make the change. You continue to go down the road. You know, like for a lot of times, I felt like I've set a low bar. I feel like I kind of put my life on cruise control. You know, things are going great, nothing's wrong, everything's happy, because I had to do a lot of soul searching. But once you finish that soul search and you realize, okay, this is who I want to be, and this is how I want to show up in the world, that's when you begin to make the true changes. That's when you begin to really say, okay, this is who I want to become. You know, when I became a CEO, it was, the universe really started revealing stuff in my path. The universe really started showing me stuff. And each year it shows more and more. But you're always going to have those years. You know, I had probably back in 2004, 2005, I had a big reset as well. But nothing as big as this one. This reset to me is it was to my fundamental truth. And you're going to see in 2021 a different me start showing up. You're going to see a much more focused, much more targeted me. Again, still honoring who I am. I mean, I still am a goofball, but there's time to be a goofball and time not to be a goofball. There's times when, you know, you need to tell your story and be raw and honest. And I always have a tendency to sugarcoat it. And I work with so many clients that when they tell me their stories, they feel it from their heart. And as I take them through the process to change their lives, you see things just changing unbelievable. When you start seeing the shifts take place in your life, you'll be like, holy crap, where has this person been? Because you're starting to let the real you out. Because the real you's there, it's just hidden. For some reason, it gets hidden away. People didn't like it, people rejected it. You know, you didn't like it because you didn't want to be goofy. You always want to be the serious one. Or your parents said, well, you're the studious one. You're the athlete one. You're the goofy one. And that was what my parents told me. You're the goofy one. You're the talker. I'm a talker. I'm an entertainer. I love to entertain, but I want to educate as I entertain. And it took me to this time to be 62 to figure all this stuff out. And I don't want you to get to 62, 63, 65 and say, oh my gosh, now I'll help you if you're there. I'll help you if you're 70. But you know, if you're 45 or 50 and you're thinking, how do I figure this out? Let's talk, let's do this. Because I don't want you to sit there and look back and say, man, if I would have only realized that I'm not that person that everybody said I was. If I wouldn't have believed people that that was me, I could have been who I was meant to be. And I think 2020 has brought that out in so many people. I mean, my clients that call me now versus who called me in 2019 are so different. Because in 2020, they're like, okay, I know I don't want to be this, but I don't know who I want to be. Or I know something's not right, but I can't quite figure it out. You know, my marriage is okay, my family's okay, my children are okay, my pet dog's okay, my cat's okay. But something's missing. And the missing piece is you. The missing part is you. Because again, as women, we bury that you away. So as you sit down over the next couple of weeks into goal setting and really start looking within at who you want to be, just get real and be honest. And ask yourself, who were you if nobody else defined you? And most importantly, ask yourself, how do I want to show up in the world? Because how you want to show up in the world is who you are. Because showing up as a fake is a fake. You know you're fake. You know that. I mean, you realize, I'm kind of out of alignment. That's not really who I am. I'm not a totally serious, but I'm not always goofy either. I'm just kind of cruise down the middle, and it's my comfort zone. Because I love to have fun, but when it's game face time, it's game face time. It took me years to realize that. It was either I was a goofball all the time or I was game face all the time. And you have to marry that. You have to marry who you are together. Make 2021 the year that you do that. You've spent 2020 being retrospective, looking at things and thinking, and it's not like 2021, not like January 1st is going to come and everybody's going to have a vaccine and life is going to be amazing. I can tell you guys, I won't even tell how many hours a day on phone calls about this vaccine because of my day job in assisted living. And I talked to somebody on line 2 at 10 o'clock and told them something, and I called them back at 10:20 and said, nope, just changed. And they called me again and said, we're still on the path. The thing you told us the second time is accurate. And I'm like, I don't know. I honestly can't tell you. I can tell you it's accurate as of You know, I think it was like 1 o'clock or 12:30 accurate at 1 o'clock on today. So, and I think that's, for people that like to be down a straight line, 2020 has taught everybody to zig and zag. For people like me that are a zigger, a zagger, and that, you know, can move around fast, 2020 has reinforced that. Has told me, you know, you're good with change. Change doesn't bother you. You can change all day long. But for those people that can't, you've been really unsettled in 2020. Like I said, 2021, you know, I don't know how long it's going to take to get the vaccine out. I mean, current projections are that they'll be through 1A and 1B by end of January, and also doing people, I mean, because I'm in assisted living, we're in a totally different section than the public. The public will go to pods and get their vaccine then, and then people have to decide, do they want the vaccine or they don't want the vaccine? Are they going to take it or not take it? You know, I think, little sidebar here, I think we're going to have to start traveling with our shot records, just like when we were kids in high school. Do you have a shot record? You know, when I was in the military, I had to carry my shot records. I had to carry my passport, my shot records. So I was used to that. I don't think about, you know, carrying shot records. It was odd to me not to carry shot records because it's just what you did back then. But I just think that they're going to really start tracking this. It's going to be interesting. 2020, I think, 2021, I think is going to be such a fascinating year. I thought 2020 was fascinating. I think 2021 will be even more fascinating because we have so much going on in the front end. We have vaccines, we have presidential change, we have, you know, universal change, and it's going to be a fabulous, fabulous year. So I hope this helped you guys. Take your time, be retrospective, ask yourself the 3 questions. Who do you want to be? How do you want to show up in the world? And how do you get there? Talk to you guys later. Oh, and hope I see you Saturday on my Become Your Most Powerful Self workshop. It starts at 9 a.m. It won't be that long, maybe 45 minutes to an hour. I think sitting on a Zoom call for an hour, and you know, I've had to be on them for 8 or 9 hours at a time. That it's a stretch. But if you can't get to it, that's cool. There'll be a replay that we posted to the website probably within a couple days afterwards. Talk to you guys later. Have a great, marvelous, and fantastic day. Bye-bye.